never enter the ocean or the mountains without asking permission from the people of the sea.
Honolulu Bay, I guess it really has a special feel to it. I think it just brings women on tour, I guess, back to that close-knit community that we are, and yeah, it's quite pure.
In Hawaii, it's really traditional to have ceremonies before you begin anything. They just wanted to thank the gods for giving us this beautiful place and, you know, keep us safe. Being a part of that and being from Hawaii, it's really special for me, and having all the girls here and witnessing something like that, it's really amazing to all come together and just be thankful for what we have. And little blessings like that really make a difference for me, and I'm sure everyone else too.
Beautiful scenes from yesterday's opening ceremony here. It is now day 2 of the event window for the Target Maui Pro staged at what Mark Richards, the 4-time world champion, once described as the best wave in the world. Honolulu Bay, Ronnie Blakey here. You're watching Dawn Patrol. We've got a big show for you this morning with plenty of interesting stuff to get into. First up, we're going to get caught up on what unfolded at the first stop of the Vans Triple Crown over there at Haleiwa, the Hawaiian Pro. Second, we'll introduce the GoPro Challenge. Plenty of big entries are going to be coming our way during the Hawaiian winter. And then we're going to get a bit of a rundown on this break by Joe Topel and Martin Potter. And lastly, we'll have a look at Rosie Hodges' heartbreaking fantasy surfing tips, and we'll say good morning to Rosie now. How are you, Rosie?
Good morning, guys. Feeling good.
Great to have you on the show. And Strider Wasilewski, welcome to the desk.
Very, very happy to be here. Beautiful day here in Hawaii. Great
to have you over here. Of course, you were there for the opening stages of that first event of the Vans Triple Crown, the Hawaiian Pro, and it was a big one. So much on the line for those QS campaigners.
Yeah, you know, we started out with some really great surf, and the waves actually hung on all the way through. I was impressed with Mother Nature to bring the swell. They forecasted some really small waves off the tail end, but it looked really fun. And the boys had a challenge. I mean, it was really hard for all those guys, and I think old Philly boy was breaking people's dreams up.
Yeah, he was. Some good performances through the early rounds by a number of surfers. Connor Coffin here looking really sharp. Dusty Payne had a good run through the event, Rosie. But in the end, it was one of the underdogs getting the win. Wade Carmichael, a.k.a. Jesus. That's what he looks like these days with that beard and long mane. But he just upset all the big names and took his biggest victory.
Well, you know, you think about Wade Carmichael. I saw him competing at the Lowest Pro earlier this year, and he has such great form. And coming into this event, you know, he just seemed, they did the interview with him after his win, and he seemed so, you know, sturdy in himself. He was so confident and just really quiet and humble about it. But taking out that win, you know, such a special event for him. And then, like you mentioned, Philip Toledo breaking, you know, those qualifiers' dreams. And it was also good to see the two Hawaiians, Ezekiel Lau and Dusty Payne, in that final.
Here's Wade now, and you mentioned that result at Lowers at the start of the year, a semi-final finish there, but he has had a shocking year on the QS. Other than that result over there at Trestles, the waves have been pretty small throughout, but he really did find some form, and he made a huge jump, up 40 spots into 13th position, but still the top 10 looking pretty solid at this stage, Strider.
Yeah, those guys that were all in the final there, Dusty, Zeke, you know, and Wade, all jumped up like 20 spots each. They were all down around 40 and 50 position, and for them to jump up that high gave them high hopes coming into Sunset. I mean, it's anybody's game still for the qualifying series. You can see there that those guys made the jump and they feel good about it. You said Kai Otten jumped 245 spots.
Yes.
But, you know, for those guys
mover
trying to make it in, it really is, it's going to come down to Sunset. Haleiwa's an amazing event, and to do well there for Wade was huge, and confidence-wise, it's a huge boost coming into Sunset, but they've got a lot of work to do.
Well, a little bit of info on Wade Carmichael, for those of you that don't know him. 23 years of age, has never really had any major support, financial backing. He's really been a grinder on the QS, so this is a crucial win for him, Rosie, and with a big result at Sunset, he can shore up a spot for next season.
That's exactly it, and he said with confidence yesterday too that Hawaii is one of the places that he really does well. So you mentioned he didn't do that well, you know, in the other events in the QS, but Hawaii, he seems to have this quiet confidence that really, you know, that's what it's all about when you come into that situation, to push that pressure aside and just surf with confidence.
Well, let's get our focus back on this event. We're here for a world title showdown, and we're going to find out now. We're going to get some heats underway. We'll check in with Joe Topel and the commissioner for this contest, Jessie Miley-Dyer.
Thank you very much, Ronnie. Down here with Deputy Commissioner Jesse Miley-Dyer, former competitor. Jesse, I think my favorite part of looking back in your career was the multiple finals you made out here and obviously a big win back in the day. How did you find your success here at Honolulu Bay as a competitor?
You know, Rip Curl had actually sent Steph Gilmore and I here to this wave the year before we were on tour, and I think for me, I just always felt really comfortable here. I always felt at home at this wave, and even when it was bigger, you know, it felt like, you know, a place that I would enjoy.
Well, we look back at some photos. Sometimes you had to surf it with a lot of size. What was the excitement like for the top 17 back then, seeing Honolulu Bay triple overhead?
Yeah, it was great. You know, we would all have a really big quiver here. Being in Hawaii, we'd also come from Sunset. So, you know, surfing Sunset and how shifty it is, it's kind of sets you up really nicely for here and that beautiful, you know, clean takeoff. But, you know, I love this place at size, and it's such an amazing wave when it's, you know, 8 to 10 foot. It's definitely one of the best waves in the world.
Thinking about the world title race, Carissa Moore taking off against Courtney Conlog. How often do they end up in your office when the call's on the line?
You know, the women on tour are actually really good. They're not really into, you know, coming in and demanding a certain call. You know, what everyone really recognizes is that no matter what happens, they either have to be ready or not. So you can tend to get yourself in the mindset of not wanting to surf and not being ready. And, you know, going for a world title, it's definitely not something that you want in your head.
Very true. Well, what's the call today, Jesse? Are we going to see some heats?
Yeah, you know, it's really small out there today, so we're going to be off again. You know, we do have waves in the forecast, but it is going to take a little bit to get here. So right now it looks a little bit like a lake still.
Well, thanks so much, Jesse. Enjoy your lay day today. Coming up next on Dawn Patrol, the GoPro Challenge has its final stop here in Hawaii. Remember, the Hero 4 session cameras are out. That's coming up next.
Welcome back to Dawn Patrol. No heats will be unfolding here today at the Target Maui Pro, but there's still plenty to come on the show. And next up, we're going to be having a look at the GoPro Challenge. And, well, I'm going to hand it over to Strider because he pretty much sleeps with a GoPro mounted to his head. Strider, you love those things.
When you're in a place where there's waves, it's so fun to use. I mean, you get out there, you get in the barrel, the perspective, and the new cameras are so light and easy to use. It's like, it's just the funnest thing in the world. And then you get to go back and you watch your clips like a Grom and sitting around with your friends. I mean, we do it. Don't lie. You were in there, too.
Yeah, I don't mind the old clip, but the new cameras are
I got
mental.
clips of you. Know.
Love those new cameras too. Just they're so small, so really you don't have that big weight to swing around on the end of your board. It's tiny, that thing. Love it. But here are the GoPro Challenge details here. Open to all CT men and women. Locations Maui and Oahu, so the guys and the girls can get involved over there at Pipe if they want to. pretty fun and a solid window too.
Yeah, the Hawaii edition opens up November 21st, December 20th. And, you know, I'd love to see some of the women get over to Pipeline and drop in. Tati, why don't you go over there, pull into a big bomb in the warm-up sessions and take it from the boys.
She snatched it before from the man over there in Fiji with a huge barrel at Cloud Break. 10 grand if you get the job done with a shot outside of competition. 15 if you get it with the jersey, Rosie. But then the details there are pretty interesting. It's not all about getting just the biggest barrel. There's the lighting, the cinematography as well.
Yeah, the degree of difficulty. You really want to be entertained. I mean, that's why we watch these clips. We want to see how deep you get. You're basically getting rides that us mere mortals don't know what to do. So that's what's interesting to me, to just watch how they, you know, ride their boards and what they're doing and how the barrel's coming over. And
I love this one from Courtney Conlog. This was a winner last year, straight up.
Yeah, she won this thing. She took it down. It was just the women here on Maui in this challenge, and she actually scored a perfect little nugget right here. Comes down, flies in, and comes off the bottom, cracks it off the top. Throws some buckets, couple Christmas trees for her, couple sliding presents right under the tree right here. Look at this, just grabs the wall into the barrel. I mean, look at that point of view, and that's with the mouth mount. She's got it in, you know, bites on it, and then you can come out with it, throws down another turn. It's so easy to use. You just turn it on, you forget about it. And yeah, granted, it might be a little new when you first do it, but once you get it down, it's so easy to use.
That was the only barrel I got inside last season with Courtney and the GoPro. But I love this end section too, Rosie. So much speed, and this is heading down towards that cakey bowl, and she just finishes off this wave beautifully.
oh, she does. This is really just the exclamation point on that ride. And you know, taking away that 10 grand, that's got to feel pretty good at the end of the day once you put your name in the hat for this GoPro challenge. To get the call that you've won, I know over in Tahiti, a couple of the boys were trying to get those entries in, and it gets pretty competitive, so it's good to see.
Beautiful. Well, still plenty of time left to log in some big GoPro clips, so expecting a lot from the best in the world. Stay with us after the break. Joe Tapel and Martin Potter are going to break down Honolulu Bay.
Aloha and good morning and welcome to Dawn Patrol here at the Target Maui Pro, the 10th stop of the season for the Samsung Galaxy Championship Tour, as we wait in anticipation to see when we'll get this world title race underway. Joe Tapel alongside former world champ Martin Potter. Potts, you've told me in the past this is one of your favorite venues in the entire world.
Absolutely, Joe, and it's quite ironic though. You know, normally when you come here from the North Shore, you're anticipating good waves. This is about as flat as I've ever seen it, so it's going to be a tough one, but amazing place nonetheless. I mean, look where we are.
It's so beautiful. When you think about where we are in the world, you think about all the Hawaiian Islands. There's 8 of them. The one that we're really focusing on, the Triple Crown for the men, is over on the island of Oahu. It's a really short flight here to Maui, about an hour in the car to get to the northwest side here on this coastline, and then you get to the famous Honolulu Bay. The road just keeps winding, and you can get lost spots all the way the road to Hana.
That you can, Joe. One of the most picturesque places in the world. I mean, it's got that natural beauty. It's still untouched, which I love about it. There's no buildings around. You know, you've got this dirt road that winds up to the point, scamper down the cliff and into the water. And normally you're standing in 10-foot barrels when you come here. So it is just one of the best places on the planet.
Well, there's multiple sections on this point. You go to the top, you have a wave called Coconut. It's most exposed to wind, but oftentimes has the most sides. Then you get to the outside section and starts offering the first of multiple barrel opportunities. Potts' favorite section, the cave.
Yep.
That's where you see all those big stand-up barrel photos of some of Maui's best.
That's exactly right. I mean, you've got to go back to Free Ride with Mark Richards on that wave of the year. That's where he took off on, right in front of the cave there, and that's when the wave bends around, and as it comes down the point, it just gets hollow, and you literally stand in these big barrels. So it is just absolutely amazing. One of the 7 wonders of the world.
The Keiki Bowl has all the menahunis locally warming up to practice for the cave. But the thing that's so tricky about this spot is to score. To get good waves at Honolulu Bay can be a big task because of the shadowing of Molokai that you have in the distance here.
That's exactly right. If there's any west in the swell, it's not going to sneak through. Unfortunately, that island's been placed in the wrong place there for the west swell, but a bit more north, which, you know, kind of we get a lot of. So, you know, it's just that time of the year where we've got to get lucky with it. As I said before, you know, I had the opportunity of living with Michael Ho, so whenever that north swell was big on the North Shore, we got on the plane and made the pilgrimage over here.
Always great to do a strike mission. That's why we have a waiting period. We're hoping to get this place really solid. You really want a north-northwest angle. Remember back when Greg Long won the Eddie on Oahu? This place was absolutely pumping for that event.
Yep.
You look in history of the Target Maui Pro, you go back to big waves from Chelsea Georgeson. Courtney Conlog is a wild card, so we've had a lot of luck here in the past.
That we have. Jesse Marley Dyer, probably one of the waves that sticks out in my mind. That was huge. It was like 3 or 4 times overhead, so it does get good, but unfortunately right now it is pretty flat.
Well, thinking about flatness, it might continue here for a little bit as we bring up the Surfline forecast. Big thanks to Kevin Wallace, who's been giving us all of the updates. It's flat today. It looks like it's going to be flat throughout this week, but he did say that there are some promising signs for a larger swell in early December.
You know, you always wonder why they have such a long waiting period here, and that's why, you know, we've got 2 days of surfing to get through. With that 10-day waiting period, it's going to give us that opportunity to score. Fingers crossed we will.
We've had a couple opportunities to move in the past to Hokipa. Contest officials are looking into everything, but this is the ideal spot.
Yeah.
Honolulu Bay, by far the best wave in Maui, one of the best waves in the whole world. So we're hoping to get that solid north-northwest swell to see what can produce for this exciting world title race.
Well, that's it. You know, it'd be a shame if we don't get the swell. It's going to be insane. Both Courtney and Carissa love this place when it's pumping. Courtney got a 10 last year. Carissa won the event last year, so it's going to be an insane battle.
So you see that, a couple of flat days here. The world's best will be driving all around this beautiful island of Maui to look for some warm-up surfs as we'll wait for another call nice and early tomorrow morning. Coming up next on Dawn Patrol, we'll put Rosie Hodge on the spot for her fantasy picks. That's coming up next.
It's one of the best waves in the world. Honolulu Bay really puts the dream to the dream tour. When you're driving down the dirt road, you park along the cliff, you see the waves coming through from the top of the point all the way to the cave, and it's just really special. Being from Hawaii, it's really special just to island up over here and be able to surf on Maui, and definitely feel at home a little more. I'm so close to home, and just the feeling and the people around you, it's different here, and I love to be back. There's multiple sections here at Honolulu, and you have the point, and then you have the middle of the cave where the contest usually runs, and then you have keiki bowls. This place really likes a northwest swell, and that's where the cave works and has the barrel and the power, and the keiki bowl kind of comes at you and you get a really good end section hit, and north swells really kind of break to the point more. What I love the most about Honolulu is just the way it shifts and gives you a challenge every day and every swell. And it could be playful, it could be powerful, it's shifty, it's just an amazing wave to experience, and to see huge sets rolling through and a barrel just coming from the cave all the way into keiki bowls is just an amazing sight.
World number 9, Malia Manuel there. She could definitely be a spoiler in this title showdown, a great performer throughout the season, looking for a big finish to the year. Now it's time, Rosie, for you to, I said it earlier, break some hearts. It's always hard for you. There's only so many girls on this championship tour, and it's hard to pick those girls who you're going to rest for an event. But it's the tough job that you're assigned to each competition.
Who's sitting down?
It really is. I mean, you just look at that list that comes through on the email, and you kind of have a go through all of the tiers. You've got 3 tiers on Fantasy Surfer, and you've really got to think about, who are the performers that have stood out in your mind. You look at their season as a whole, their past performances at a break, and you really got to take that into consideration when you're making your picks for Fantasy. And then for me, the heartbreaking thing is I have to sit people, maybe give recommendations of who I would see that I wouldn't want to start. So that kind of is where it gets a little bit tough for me. But as you can see, Carissa Moore is up there in my tier A. She's going for a 3rd world title. She's won this event last year. She's an easy pick for me. Stephanie Gilmore, she's won a few world titles here. She's won this event before, but unfortunately, due to that injury, she's out of the competition. So what I did is I replaced her with Tyler Wright for this event in that tier B, because Tyler Wright performed so well in France. She came 2nd year last year, so that's something to think about. Like I mentioned, past performances and also their momentum coming into an event.
Yeah, she definitely took out some of the title contenders over there in France. She looked really sharp. What about the Siddhams? Because that's the one that's tough for you to pick. And Sally Fitzgibbons, that's a rough one.
It is rough. And, Sally is someone, when I was competing here, Sally came with me to this event and watched the event. She's been here a number of years, so she's got a lot of experience out at this wave. So it's really tough to say, hey, I'm going to sit Sally. But then you look at that tier A, Courtney Conlog, Carissa Moore, those 2 ladies are going for a world title, and that really came into my mind. I was like, those girls, they're going to go hammer and tongs at it, and they're going to really advance to those rounds.
Absolutely. And I mean, they are the favourites, both with multiple victories this season. And here is some of the vision of Carissa from last season. And this is really where she got this title campaign momentum for 2015.
Looking really good. I mean, she's just got so many tricks up her sleeve. She's got every single maneuver in the book on lock. And these, sweeps off the top. And look at how beautiful that was. Just perfect execution. She reads the wave well. Her boards look great. She looks super confident. I mean, out here last year, she was unstoppable, obviously, all the way through. And she's going to look good coming into this. I feel like it could be Courtney's turn, though, as the numbers go. Like you said, she's done better here as Carissa, but Courtney, she's really, really, really good out here, and I think that she could be stepping into statistically maybe her chance.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, Courtney Conlog, she has so much momentum coming into this year. She wears that hunger on her sleeve, so she's got the heart for it. Another lady that has that is Tyler Wright. She said in France, she wants to win a world title. She's here to win. A lot of the time she's put that aside, and she said that she's just learning from the experience, but she showed us she wants to win.
That was cool, wasn't it? It was a great interview with Tyler, and really for the first time, she kind of shook off that carefree attitude and let us know what her intentions are. And I think that's been spurred on a little bit by her older brother Owen on the men's championship tour. He seems to have really found that fire for a world title, and he's going to be going for it at Pike.
Well, I think it brings her fans in too. You know, Tyler opening up like that and actually showing true emotion and you know, saying that she did feel the pressure. She does, you know, have that kind of understanding of what's on the line, and that she does want to win. It's not all just a walk in the park for her. So it's nice to see the human emotion side of her and bring everybody else into her life and let that all be on the table.
Well, with another lay day here at the Target Maui Pro, it's not too late to lock in your fantasy team. Go to worldsurfleague.com/fantasy and get involved in the fun there. But the app, you can also download that and really just personalise your experience with the World Surf League, follow your favourite surfers and get alerts as to when they're going to be hitting the lineup. Now, another big thing that's coming up on Dawn Patrol tomorrow, Courtney Conlog, we're going to have a close look at her form, her career and her title chances. Strider, do you like them?
I like them a lot, like I was just talking to Rosie about. You know, she is, you know, I think she's due, so to speak, here at Honolulu Bay, so I can't wait to see her performance here.
Rosie, bet you can't wait to dive into that. Courtney, she's had such a magic run in 2015, and we're going to be having a very close look at it tomorrow on Dawn Patrol. We'll see you then at 7:30 a.m.